Now, this is our breaking news story. Witness D, who testified at the Madlanga Commission in November and implicated suspended EMPD Deputy Commissioner Julius Mkhwanazi, has been killed. For more on this developing story, we're joined by Newsroom Africa's Ziyanda Ngobo, who joins us live from Brakpan. Ziyanda, tell us what you see on the scene there. Since this story has broken, of course, it has also sparked a lot of reaction, especially over witness safety at this commission, or the safety of witnesses who are testifying at this commission. What can you tell us about this incident and what you're seeing on the scene right now?
Well, it's a somber end to the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry as we had to move from Tshwane to Brakpan, which is in Ekurhuleni, at the heart of the testimony this week. We understand that Witness D is the person who is now the victim of tonight's shooting at their gate. Details are sketchy. Madlanga Mate, police spokesperson, is on her way with the Deputy Provincial Commissioner Kekana as they make their way here to also give us a little bit more information. But what we understand is that the deceased is Witness D. You'll recall that they testified that they had been called to a scene here in Brakpan, where we are right now, where there had been an operation that was underway, a multidisciplinary operation that was underway, and it is there where they claim to have witnessed the tubing of a suspect as well as their eventual demise. And then it is then that Witness D claimed that they were then instructed by the now suspended EMPD Deputy Chief, that is Julius Mkhwanazi, who was on the stand this week at the Commission, to dispose of that body either in a mine shaft or in a river. So this is where things stand at this particular point in time as we actually try and see if we can't edge closer. But we understand that, Mate will be on her way here with Kekana, with my colleague Kevin Marobela. As you know, it's quite sensitive and it is an active scene. So we're going to just stay where we are at this particular point in time until Mate makes her way. But forensics are on the scene, as you can tell. All kinds of personnel are here. It's an active scene, as you can imagine. And we have to also just stay where we are. But a tragic end to the Commission of Inquiry that has been looking into allegations of political interference and criminal infiltration in the criminal justice system. And if it is to be true, as we've been told, that it is Witness D, we know it is a witness that had testified in November, and we are told it's Witness D. It would also still have to speak to that issue you mentioned in Tlantla about the protection of whistleblowers. Witness D had testified in parts in camera, so we could hear their voice, but it was distorted. But we never got to see their face, or we never got to know their name. In fact, Mkhwanazi actually being asked if he happens to know the identity of Witness D, not to reveal it. I remember distinctly it was Commissioner Sandile Khumalo who made that request, and Mkhwanazi denying knowing the identity of Witness D. But as you'd know, as is the case with witnesses A and B, sometimes the nature of the testimony may be able to give hints as to who the person that is testifying might actually be. So as you can see, as we continue to show you on the scene, security officials, private security that we can see to my left, as well as officers that seem to have arrived to this particular scene. And as I've already mentioned in Tlantla, Madlanga Mate, the national spokesperson of the South African Police Service, making her way to this particular crime scene. You can imagine the kind of moment that we are in. Currently having a commission of inquiry looking into these very serious, damning, and at times scary allegations into the alleged criminal infiltration Commission and a tragic end to what was the last day of public hearings at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. A witness who had offered to assist the Commission of Inquiry with information as they try and get a better sense of what is going on. Well, this particular witness has now demised, and we're told, as from sources, that this took place in front of their children. As you can see, this is a residential area that we find ourselves in Nhlanhla, and I must tell you that as you drive to this particular area, it's not very well lit. It's the story of many municipalities across our country when we talk about service delivery. The roads are not clearly marked. It's very dark as you try and make your way here, but it is indeed a residential area. The city of Ekurhuleni firmly in the spotlight of the country as we now stand at behind the tapes of the police service as they now process the murder scene of witness D, who testified in November at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry.
Ziyanda, looking at the scene right now, have you observed any signs that the attack was indeed targeted or a hit? For example, the method of the shooting or location. You speak of the shooting being, or rather the incident scene being very dark as well there.
Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult to say in Nhlanhla from where we are standing. We're still standing behind the tape that has been put by the South African Police Service. As I've mentioned, it is an active scene as we just try to get a little bit closer. But, we also have to respect the scene. We are having to be following the usual protocols. We can't be also contaminating the scene. And, contamination of scenes is also something that has been discussed quite extensively at the Commission of Inquiry. I hope you can see the forensics. It looks like there's a vehicle in front of us. That vehicle might be where witness D fell to their demise when they were shot and killed sometime this evening. The details we'll get to when Athlenda Mate arrives, but I can see two forensic officials walking around one particular vehicle. I'm trying to squint and see what kind of car it is, but I can tell you that it looks like a silver, sedan, and they are walking around the vehicle. It is very dark, as I've already mentioned, and it's still clearly a very active scene at this particular point in time. So we might have just come a few moments or maybe a few minutes after this has taken place. And as I was mentioning, we were still at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, where we were still dealing with the testimony of, Police Minister on leave of absence, Senzo Mkhunu, dealing with the issues of that disbandment letter. But I want us to reflect then on what we heard just yesterday in Nhlanhla at the Commission of Inquiry about what exactly witness D had told the Commission of Inquiry in relation to the instruction that they allegedly received from Julius Mkhwanazi. It's very important, however, not to draw any inferences. However, if this is witness D, this is what witness D had told the Madlanga Commission.
Witness D gives the Commission a particular date of the 15th of April 2022. Right? I won't go into everything in detail right now because I'll take you through the statement in detail in due course. But when you work through the statement, witness D indicates that he was invited to an operation in Brakpan in April of 2022. He was invited to a law enforcement operation on a plot in Brakpan. Witness D then also sets out the individuals who were part of that operation. You would find that at paragraph 5 of witness D's statement. In the course of giving evidence before the testimony,
All right, that's just some of what we've heard. I want us to turn our attention quickly to my left as a convoy has arrived, and we believe that might probably be Athlenda Mate, who is going to be flanked with the provincial officials to come and comb the scene. They are also at the center of what we are dealing with here. The South African Police Service is being probed as to whether or not they have been infiltrated by criminal networks, and that has also seen an interference in investigations. The safety of witnesses tonight firmly in focus as we now stand at an active scene of witness D, who testified at the Commission of Inquiry. Officials having arrived here, and that is Deputy Provincial Commissioner Kekana. It's a tough moment, not even in uniform. You can imagine, how difficult this moment is. Commissioner, if we could just steal you for a moment. It's quite tough. You're not even in uniform. I can imagine that you had to be called from wherever we all were. I was at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, an active scene, a difficult moment.
Yeah, I'll engage you later on. As you see, I've just arrived. I'll just have to get the briefing first, and then we'll be in a position to engage. I'll give you a full briefing after this.
Well understood, Commissioner, as he goes now to go and get a briefing on the particular scene. He's just arrived, not even in uniform, as we've already said. But let's take you back to some of the visuals of the actual active crime scene in Nhlanhla as we continue to try and put the pieces of the puzzle together. But South Africans have been told about the Ekurhuleni municipality, the municipality that has been described as having EMPD officials who themselves have, criminal records. And I can see, Commissioner Kekana actually going to his booth because he's trying to probably get his uniform on. But he has given us an undertaking that, we will get a briefing once he has also been fully appraised of what is going on. Where does one even begin tonight in Nhlanhla as we now actually watch as the forensic teams actually comb the scene of the shooting and killing of witness D? As you'll know, that he was shot and killed in front of his wife and children. We are just standing in abeyance from the tape, but certainly witness D, a critical component of testimony, in fact, likely to become a critical feature in the testimony of Ekurhuleni insofar as that interim report of the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry is concerned. We've heard allegations of malfeasance, as I've mentioned, corrupt EMPD officials, and at a political level, it will seem people being shielded from accountability. I'm talking about law enforcement agencies, not just EMPD, IPID, also coming into question insofar as the alleged shielding of Julius Mkhwanazi is concerned. Ekurhuleni, there is something clearly terribly wrong with this particular metro, and the death and the murder of witness D is a clear testament to that. As I've mentioned, today was supposed to be, it is the last day of public hearings of the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, but witnesses who may have wanted to come forward also now maybe being skeptical as we now see what has taken place with this particular witness D.